Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome to Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Here to talk Packers, talk Combine, talk draft, and everything in between. How we doing today, gents? We're joined with Tim in Green Bay, back in the fold, baby. And, of course, we got Jacob in Wisconsin doing his thing.
I'm doing well. Apparently, I'm doing better than the both of you guys this morning. Under the weather for different reasons, but no, I'm feeling good. Happy to be back.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you back for sure. We've been covering a lot, haven't we, Jacob? Seems like a lot of news has broke over the last few days for sure.
Yeah, I mean, good morning, everyone. First of all, and yeah, we haven't had any help from Emilio. I know that's for sure. So me and Clayton,
shocker.
My back hurts.
He's working on the trade proposal for Max Crosby right now.
Yeah. But anyways, there has been a lot of information. I actually just got to watch. I haven't been able to watch much of the actual combine, but I'm watching the replays now. And I think at 9 a.m. my time, Central Time, they're going to start live again with the offensive linemen, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm hoping to catch. It's weird, man. As I grow up and age, I'm more excited to watch the big hog mollies than than even like the little guys running around. So I'm excited.
I'm always amazed by it too, because I see them run their 40 and everybody's like, a 5'1" flat. I'm going, that 340-pound dude just beat me in a 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
And I used to be quick. This is sad. This is really, really sad. But now to piggyback off what you said there, Jacob, it looks like in terms of what we got left, today the running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts will do bench press and they will depart Indianapolis. Also today, the offensive line will be doing their on-field workout along with their measurements. Obviously, the measurements are a big thing in Green Bay with the thresholds. And then on Monday, tomorrow, the offensive line will do their bench press, and then they will depart Indianapolis, and that'll wrap up the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. So a lot of information still being tallied. I put a lot more RASs in our draft board this morning, and it's really, really coming together. I've been enjoying it. And what's really cool is when you go to look at these RASs, and we'll hit on a couple of players that really popped to me, wide receivers that popped. When you look at the RASs, it typically forces you to dig back into some of the other information, and you see stuff you missed the first time around. It's just there's still so much to uncover. And what's crazy is it's March 2nd, right? So what we're going to see in the next few days is free agency is going to ramp up now. And we're going to go straight from the combine into free agency. And then, of course, we're going to look up from free agency, and it's going to be time for the draft. So we made it, boys. Made it to another benchmark, checkpoint, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be exciting. Let's do this. Let's start off with a Patreon question. I'm going to put the draft board on the screen instead and read this from Greg S. in our Patreon group. If you guys want to join that, scan the QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Get you a lot more access to content and stuff in there for sure. So Greg S. says, can you look up PFF advanced stats for Isaac Tesla, wide receiver from Arkansas? He's a big body slot with good hands and great athleticism. He has tied for 12th in the nation for yards per reception, but has low targets compared to top receivers. I feel he is the perfect goop pick that has everyone scratching their heads, even when he is selected 2 rounds before his projected draft ranking. So Isaac Tesla on our board, I really don't dig too much into the advanced stuff, to be honest with you, Greg S. When you're talking about, like he said, the advanced stats, if you guys want to pull up PFF and you have access to some of that advanced stuff, that's cool. Here's where he sits on our board. We did not have a 2022 grade. It must have meant probably he didn't have 100 snaps, so we just try to leave that out. In 2023, he was the 706th graded wide receiver. In 2024, he was 305th. The PFF big board had him at 231. The consensus big board had him at 728 at the end of the season. Now, one of the reasons a lot of people are talking about him is that -5 there for RAS. He scored a maximum in RAS, which means he finished in the 9s. So not sure if anyone else has anything on our boy Isaac Tesla here. I guess I'm saying that name right too, Tesla. I know that might get a couple of flags thrown here, but anyway.
6'4", 217 pounds. It's got that going for him.
There you go. Anything in terms of like, he didn't make our little cheat sheet here, did he, Jacob? I don't remember seeing his name right here. Yeah, no, he didn't make. So what do you think?
Draft Buzz has got him listed as 6'4", 214. He's got really big hands, 10-inch hands. Ran a 4.4 340, pretty good. 39.5 vert, so he's in the 91st percentile there. The broad jump, he was also the 92nd percentile. A guy, it seems like he's a good athlete.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting looking at 2023 numbers compared to 2024. He basically got half the targets he had in 23 last year, but he ended up with more yards and more touchdowns and more receptions, which is crazy.
Yeah, this is I got one quick. He's in his lone season with the Razorbacks. Tesla started all 12 games and finished second on the team with 34 receptions for 351 yards and 2 touchdowns. The 6'4", 216-pound wideout showcased his reliable hands, not dropping a single pass on 64 targets, according to Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, which is really weird because I've got his card pulled up here. His receiving grade was only a 70.5, but his drop rate was 0. Like
what?
PFF smoking something over there on this guy. Contested catch rate was 71.4. That's interesting. Good. And then yards per route ran was 1.98. So why don't we do this? Why don't we cross-check it? 1.98 yards per route ran. And let's see here. Yards per route ran, 1.98. It would put him in the red on this chart right here for sure. Right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing.
Not where you want to be.
Yeah. Jess, I don't know. Grade versus man coverage was 61.5 as well. So,
yeah.
For what it's worth.
It says that he's super athletic, made Bruce Feldman's 2023 freaks list at number 83. He wrote that the 216-pound senior has impressed his new coaches. Says he's a good strength for a wideout. He has a bench of 315 plus, 38-inch, 39.5-inch vertical, and a 10.5-foot broad jump. That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive. And again, we've got him in the 481 spot here, is where he's at on our board. But the main reason Consensus Big Board really pulled him down, and that was early information. I wonder if he's changed since then. Let me go to the Consensus Big Board real quick and just double check this. If you guys got anything else far away.
But PFF's got him at 235 overall, 314th receiver out of 1,040 receivers, graded out at a 69.1.
Gotcha. And yes, the Consensus Big Board now has him at 268. So
PFF's actually higher on him than anybody, apparently.
Yeah. And what's crazy is all year long throughout the college football season, 572, he climbed to 566, 567, hovered there all year, dropped down in January to 588. On February 2nd, he was 597. Then magically on February the 6th, he just jumps up to 289. It's like they haven't played any more football, and all of a sudden, bang, he's up there. So I'm going to stick with our grade because I want to know that's where people seen him at the end of the college football season. But because the PFF grade is kind of the PFF board grade there, I should say the 231 on ours is right around where he jumped to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we got all the bases covered there. And look, if he ends up going in the 3rd round or something, or, even the 4th or 5th round, then we know, okay, that's why the Consensus Big Board pulled him down and it shouldn't have, that type of thing. So cool. Good deal there. And again, Greg S., thank you so much over in the Patreon group, buddy. We appreciate you contributing there with the questions, and thanks for supporting the show. All right. There was something I was thinking about doing. Let's go to Twitter first. And then we, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to, I want to show you guys this website here. This is on NFL.com, the Combine IQ page. It may be hard for y'all to see, and we'll see if it even loads here. As you can see, it's already stuttering. There's probably a lot of people trying to chime in on this. Let me try to refresh one time here and see if that works. Nothing.
No.
Wow. It's cooking. Yeah, there must be a bunch of people on. I had it up just a second ago, man. Maybe it's because the size of the page. Nah, nothing. Anyway, it's a really cool page. I was literally looking at it 2 seconds ago. Now all of a sudden you see it. It looks like it's jerking. So anyway, we'll drop it down. If it's got everything kind of compiled together, and it's there it went. As soon as I dropped it, it popped up. Let's see if this works now. Nope, it went. Oh, it's not letting me share. It's what it is, boys. It's not letting me share.
Of course. I was gonna say I got mine to load. Yeah, it must not let you share
so
screen.
Anytime I try to share it on the live stream, it goes down. So they've got it blocked. So evidently they don't like people advertising for their service.
Secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
Yeah. Oh, it was wow. That's what it was. So anyway, yeah, there you go. Check it out. Combine IQ. It's got draft scores, overall scores with athletic scores and stuff. We were just going to kind of walk through some positions, but like I said, if they don't want the free advertising, it's cool. All right. So moving along to X, just put a couple tweets out, just stuff at the forefront of my mind this morning. Kentucky Wildcat cornerback Maxwell Harrison will lead the combine with the fastest 40 time with a blazing 4.28. Now, this is unless an offensive lineman beats him today, okay? He should be the fastest at a 4.28. Following Harrison for the fastest 40 times this year were Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden at 4.29, Iowa State cornerback Darian Porter at 4.30. We had Tennessee wide receiver Dante Thornton Jr. at a 4.30. Virginia Tech running back Tootin, we'll just leave it there, at a 4.32. Tulane cornerback Caleb Ransall at 4.33. Florida wide receiver Shamir Dyke at 4.34. Virginia Tech wide receiver Jalen Tate at 4.34. And Kansas State cornerback Jacob Parrish at a 4.35. So obviously, I did not see Maxwell Harrison coming away from this combine with the fastest time. I thought he would be sub 4.4 potentially. I did not expect a sub 4.3. So this dude definitely helped his stock in that regard.
And gold medal at the Underwear Olympics.
There it is. Now he's going to skyrocket up the old boards, right, Tim? We talk about this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I love about how we identify with the combine bonuses. If you look at Maxwell on our board, he is sitting in the 83 spot. And what's really cool about somebody like him, I feel a lot comfortable about where we've got him ranked because we've got every column filled with information. We've got him in 2023, he was the 62nd graded corner. In 2024, he dropped all the way to 484. And we need to throw a red on that too because he was hurt his senior year, wasn't he, fellas, if I remember correctly?
Let's see.
Quick.
Yes, 7 games last year.
So a little injury there. So 484th. In PFF Big Board, they had him in the 74 spot. The consensus Big Board had him at 62. Both of those better than where we've got him ended up, right?
Yep.
Senior Bowl, he stood out, so he got the 5-point bonus there. Daniel Jeremiah had him in the 44 spot. Kyle Krabs has him at 57. Dane Brugler has him at 54. And then he gets another 5-point bonus for the RAS for his combine performance. I don't know, man. To me, the second round seems like a reach according to our board. But the fact that Daniel Jeremiah and Dane Brugler have him at 44 and 54, that makes me feel a lot better if the Packers were to pull the trigger on him if he lasted to their second round pick. What do you guys think about Maxwell here? And any other name on this list, we'll just go around them.
I like Maxwell Harrison. Not in love with him, but definitely like him. I like the measurables, 6'1", 185 or something, 186. Another boundary corner out of Kentucky. Might pair well with another guy from Kentucky that we're familiar with in Green Bay who plays pretty well on the boundary. And yeah, it's almost like, the fact that he blew everybody away with his 40 time, it's like kind of makes me mad because I'm kind of hoping he would be in a sweet spot for us to maybe steal another Kentucky corner here in the draft. But I think as per usual, that good 40 time is gonna bump him up a little bit. And, we'll see where he ends up ultimately falling in the draft.
Go ahead, Jacob. Him or anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Harrison goes, I know that it's going to be boosted by that 40 time like Tim talked about. I don't know if it necessarily is going to be beneficial to what I would want us to do with him. I mean, if he is going to get boosted, I was just reading that on Draft Buzz that they have him projected as a day 2 guy, but I mean, when you have that 4.28, that probably could catapult you easily into the first round if the right team thinks you're worth it. I just hope that the Packers don't take that gamble. The one thing I will say, though, is that if you look at his PFF grades, that says Goody all over it because he had, I believe, like an 81 last year. Really looked great. This year kind of fell off a little bit, like Clayton's talked about. But I just think that for the positional value where he's probably going to go now, I'd like a different player. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's like some players just don't line up with your board, you know.
Yeah. But
I think you're gonna.
I will say that
Go ahead.
I will say that I really love Darian Porter. That guy's climbing up my list as maybe being one in my top 3 for cornerbacks. And Deontay Thornton really made a case for himself as well to slide in, and maybe the 3rd or 4th round, I think, wouldn't be crazy for him. So,
yeah, we have Darian Porter in the 73 spot on our board. DJ had him outside of his top 50 on both of his top 50 boards. The 33rd team had him at 46, and Dane Brugler had him at 99, but he did max out with 10, right? To the best of my knowledge, he got a 10 RAS. So
makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect. Last I heard, anyway. So his grade is a 65.9, which theoretically speaking will make you think might be worthy of around the 65 range, but he's currently sitting 73rd on our board. So he is an outside corner as well.
What do you guys think about Matthew Golden? You think he moves up a little bit now?
Matthew Golden has been interesting, man, because, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about how we don't need another slot receiver. And I'm like, I didn't know he was a slot. And then doing more digging, I'm like, where the hell are people getting that slot from? Like, he played outside. He's 5'11", right? Tim, we got him in the 36 spot, and we don't even have his RAS in yet. I want to say it was somewhat incomplete, so I was kind of holding back a little bit. If he gets that 5-point bonus, he's going to jump to a 34 score, which is going to put him in the 32 spot for us. Yeah, the Packers met with him too, man.
Yeah, maybe it's the threshold though. He met the slot threshold by our standards, 118 snaps in the slot. So maybe they think there is some versatility there with him.
So you got his snaps pulled up, Tim?
Yep.
So he had over 100 in the slot, and how many outside?
376 wide snaps, according to PFF.
Okay, I'm going to put the V next to him, okay? That way we know he can play slot and he can play outside. But that's a good thing. Like, You know what I'm saying?
Just under 1,000 yards, too. You know, 9 tutters. I mean, I don't know. Him moving up, though, is going to definitely affect the chances that the Packers take him, even if we go receiver in the first round, which I think would be crazy. But
yeah, I could totally see that. But as I'm looking at him, okay, he's now in the 37 spot for us, right? So if he does climb up, let's say 10 spots, that puts him right in the ballpark of where we're picking, right? So if he's there, I'll be the guy.
One other thing to think about is he's considered a master of intermediate routes. It says he's a nasty route runner who sells his breaks with conviction. Quarterbacks bite hard on his double moves due to his convincing head and shoulder fakes. And then I think this might be the biggest feather in his cap. It says special teams value is a proven kick returner who housed 2 returns in 2023, averaged over 31 yards per return, showing game-breaking ability, which is something I believe the Packers, even though everybody loves Mr. Nixon, I think that may actually be a really great fit now that I think about it.
Yeah. We talked about that before, Clayton, right? About, I mean, not with Keyshawn, but with Jayden Reed, right? We weren't super thrilled about Bird being back there, you know, returning. It's like, if this gives you an option, but I just don't know how aggressively do you think, you know, Goody would pursue Matthew Golden?
Yeah, it's a great question.
I really think, you know, like with the 7 picks, there's been a lot of chatter about Goody trying to load up on more picks. So I don't think he would move up to get him. But if for some reason he dropped, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, if Goody's board looked like ours, and we know it doesn't, then he would be a reach at 23.
Yeah,
and he is not going to be there when we pick, you know, in the second round at pick 54. So I do want to say this, guys. I've gotten a bunch of complaints, and I'm going to be real quick about this. I don't want to make the show about drama. I got complaints about people being negative in the chat. I try to be lenient with this stuff. We want to create an environment where people can come in here and voice their opinion and everybody get along. I've been asked, hey, man, you need to block so-and-so. He's bringing the chat down, or, you know, there's actually a few of them. You guys can go block them on YouTube. You can literally click on their profile, click block, and you don't ever see their comments again. You'll notice we can tell when people just want to be negative. We just pretend like, okay, we're not gonna sit in here and be depressed. Okay, that's not gonna
be a crackhead. You got hold to the wrong stuff.
It's a perfect way to end that. I'm just saying, if you guys don't like those negative comments, just block that person. You'll never see their comment again.
Yeah,
and we'll pretend like we're not seeing it. But I want people to feel like they can voice their opinion. But at the same time, I can understand. I side with you guys that are tired of negative stuff. So J-Co, I blocked many people. J-Co's like, man, J-Co's like, man, there ain't many people in here talking today. He's already blocked 73 people. But, yeah, that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Just again, if you want to be negative, that's cool. Fire away. But I understand people want to not see that. I get that totally, man. Listen, life's tough enough as it is. We get on here to talk ball and have a good time, and we got people. When I was growing up, we called that a buzzkill, and you guys know what I'm talking about, bro. $5 on this, Jay, and you're bringing it down. You know what I mean? That's of course that was circa 1998.
Look at Prince.
Gaze upon my fields where I grow my blocks, and ye shall see it. Prince in here dropping scripture this morning.
Let's go, dude.
All right, let's we got to go quick, man. I got to be off here in 20 minutes. So, all right. So I put together a couple tweets about some of the wide receivers that caught my attention. Math Bomb doing his work over there with the RAS stuff. He said Andrew Armstrong is a wide receiver prospect in the 2025 draft class. He scored an unofficial 9.44 RAS out of 10. That ranks him 193 out of 3,441 wide receivers from 1987 to 2025. Now, I highlighted him because I said at 6'3", 202, Tim, Andrew Armstrong is a very interesting prospect. He lands in the 153 spot on our PTA big board and finished the 2024 season with an 89.1 PFF grade. So PFF checks the box, size checks the box, RAS checks the box. These are the type of guys that when you're at the range and you're zeroing in that sight, right? It's hilarious. I spent an extra 16 minutes trying to zero in a scope on a 300 blackout one day. Mandy picked up the rifle and started pinging them from 200 yards away. I'm like, I guess it's me. You know
Operator
what I mean?
error, Clayton.
Exactly right. But anyway, what do you guys think about Andrew Armstrong? I thought that was kind of an interesting prospect. And again, the fact that Math Bomb put this tweet out there is kind of how he grabbed my attention.
I think it's crazy that he's nowhere to be found on PFF's board.
That's what I was just going to say.
That boggles my mind. And I like them guys from Arkansas, and he fits the build, right? Like you said, 6'3", 200 plus. Not that I don't like Jalen Noel, for a smaller guy, but I'm looking for the big body receivers. It's been no secret.
Jacob, we've got him in the 153 spot on our board. In 2022 is the 33rd highest graded receiver. In 2023, he was 129th. 2024, he jumped all the way to 9th. When we found the information on the PFF big board, he was 190th. Consensus big board had him at 236. And obviously, he gets the maximum RAS here. This feels like a potential day 3 guy that might be in that wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this kind of screams a Goody pick. Draft Buzz has him listed as an outside X receiver. He ran the 40 and 4.51. He's they've got him listed as 6'4", 202. He's got really good size hands. Obviously, the vert was 37.5, which is 75th percentile. Broad jump was in the 70th percentile. I mean, they don't have a lot of information on him as well. He's kind of a little bit of an under. I mean, that's one of those guys that Goot. You know, he's probably licking his lips and wondering, like, how long is this guy going to fall? How many other
Goody's doing the old almost a perfect RAS. Huh?
He was really good last year too. Well.
Yeah, he's like I said, man. One that kind of grabbed my attention when I seen that come across from Math Bomb. I was like, let me look at this guy. I looked, I went, oh, and then I peeled back in the letter. I went, oh, okay. So look for him, and I think he's going to skyrocket up boards because he checks all the boxes, and he really does.
Was the best guy around.
And when you see someone come out with an 82.9 in 2022. And then they drop back to 75.8, but that's not horrible. That's still a solid grade. And then take it to the next level, 89.1. It's like, okay, face some adversity, bounce right back even better. That's a good sign. That's a trait you're looking for sure. So there you go. There's Andrew Armstrong out of Arkansas. All right. Next, we got another wide receiver, Tim. I think you were just talking about this gentleman here.
Here's the guy.
He was compared by Kevin McCune on Twitter to Tyler Lockett. When you look at their RASs, they were very, very similar. Okay, so you look for RAS comps like that when you're kind of going through. And they got an awesome tool on their website over at the RAS website. Just go to MathBomb on Twitter, and you'll be able to get a link to that. And by the way, if you're gathering information, feel free to donate. He's got a donation set up where he's doing all this work. I donated a little bit this morning just to kind of throw a little into the pot since we're using their tools. But I said the Green Bay Packers have met with Iowa State wide receiver Jalen Noel. So he's got the cheese emoji on our board here. At 5'11", 194, he lands in the 109 spot on our PTA big board. He finished the 2024 season with an 80.5 PFF grade, playing 133 snaps out wide and 339 in the slot. So he's showing kind of that reverse versatility, right? The majority of them were in the slot, but still had 133 outside. Pretty impressive. What do you guys think about someone like a Jalen Noel here? And like I said, the Packers, obviously he is on their radar.
That was really cool to see that, because I'm like looking at my notes now, and I got this like gigantic list of these big body receivers that I, just talked about. But like of the sub 6 foot receivers, Jalen Noel is number one on my list. I've got Jalen Noel, Luther Burden out of Missouri, and then we've got Isaiah Bond out of Texas. Those were the three that I liked, sub 6 foot receivers. The thing with Noel that's so cool is, like you said, the ability to be a slot guy, but also get out and cook wide on occasion as well. And I think that's maybe why, they're kind of interested in him and he's on the radar. And obviously, the RAS score doesn't hurt as well. So it's important to remember, it's not just Jaden Higgins coming out of Iowa State, right? We've got we've got multiple receivers, and I'm not super high on Jalen Noel, but of the, and again, he's 5'11", 194, so he's not, that small. But of the shorter, quote, more compact receivers, he's definitely at the top of the list for me.
I mean, just to reiterate kind of what Tim just said, I want to read this little blurb on him from, again, a scouting summary report. It says Noel has dangerous weapon written all over him as a vertical slot receiver with the deep ball tracking ability that jumps off the film. The way he stresses defenses downfield belies his modest frame. When this isn't your typical underneath slot guy, when he gets a clean release, defenders are immediately in survival mode. So that I like that.
Now think about this. We talked about if you go and get a slot receiver and you kick Jaden Reed out a little bit more often, right? Like in the Z or even the X. Imagine Jaden Reed. He's been that dude playing the slot. Throw this guy in the slot, and everything you just described in that scouting report, run a slot fade with a dagger concept with him on a 9 fade if they're showing single high, and then bring from the X or the Z, however you want to look at it, depending on where the tight end is, bring Jaden Reed on that deep dig across the middle. You can even turn that into, it's a dagger concept, but you can work it into almost like a slot cross concept where instead of a dig, it's a choice route where he can choose to climb or just keep it sharp horizontally. If you get someone like that who can play the slot, you can mix and match these guys now. Let him take over the slot spot, kick Jaden Reed out a little more off. Doesn't mean Jaden Reed's not going to run jet sweeps and he's not going to be the F, but this guy could play a little F. The problem is you've got to learn all of the choice routes in Matt LaFleur's offense to truly play the F receiver. So that's going to take some time for a rookie, obviously. But I don't know, man. Somebody, again, the Packers, he's got the cheese next to his name, so obviously the Packers are interested in Jalen Noel. And we'll keep an eye on him moving forward for sure. And again, he sits when I put this together, he was in the 109 spot. I did some more work to the board. Now he's currently in the 110 spot. So he dropped one spot because someone else had leapfrogged. So not necessarily a receiver, but just a player in general.
Dude, almost 1,200 yards last year, man.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
1,193 yards, 8 tutters, averaging just under 15 yards a reception. Like,
Yep.
feed that man the rock.
Yeah.
You want to kind of go through and look at where he lands here. So on NFL.com, they've got his draft score as an 80, and that's 7th best in the entire draft. His athleticism score was a 91, and his college production score is a 71. Timmy had 1,200 yards, and they only gave him a 71 in production. So those are the things where you got to do your own digging and go, I would put his production a lot higher than that, you know? So if that's the case, let's say you put his production at a 78, then he's going to end up leapfrogging people like Matthew Golden potentially, you know? And I'm not saying he's going to get drafted before Matthew Golden, but he's definitely in the conversation of don't act surprised if Jalen Noel comes out his rookie year and he just pops and some of these other guys maybe struggle for a bit. So I'll be
interesting to see the football, the FBI too on him. Like you said, coming in and grasping those concepts. We talked about Edge Coop last year, how quickly he picked things up and didn't look like a rookie out there. Maybe we have something like that here as a receiver, a guy who can step in and just be a monster right away, which would make a lot of fans happy, right? If you're going to go to the draft and get a receiver, we want someone who can play now, not someone who's another project, right?
Absolutely. Jay Cole asked a great question here, Jay. Who the hell was the quarterback for Iowa State? I mean, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel.
Who's the OC over there too?
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's interesting. And am I thinking right, guys, that the wide receiver coach? Let me think here. I could be wrong. You guys correct me. Somebody in the chat the other day said that Christian Watson's wide receiver coach,
yes,
at North Dakota State, ended up going to Iowa State. Is that right?
I believe so. Yep.
And we get that goddamn job at the Packers. Find him real quick. Hey, come on up here, buddy. We need you as a quality control coach, and we'll pay you more than you're making in college. So if that is the case, you guys fact check me on that. But I think I remember reading that. So he's doing something right. But do we know who the quarterback is by chance, guys? That might be kind of tough.
Do a little digging. Maybe we can find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see if you can find it, Tim. Just a quick Google search would be fine too, just to get his name out there anyway. Because J. Cole, that's a great point, man. I'm glad you brought that up. It might be something too. Watch both these receivers suck, and that quarterback end up being the next Peyton Manning or something, right? Like he made the receivers better.
Rocco Becht.
Does it show what year he's in by chance, Tim?
Let's see. I'm on Iowa State's page right now, waiting for it to load. Must be a lot of people checking on Iowa State receivers.
A lot of NFL coaches too are going, let me see if they ain't got a good quarterback, we're hiring their receiver coach.
Redshirt junior, it says 2025. So I don't know. Was he their starter last year?
Gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
It. Yeah.
We'll do some digging because that I would like to know that name as well. So, all right. Ben Holden says, I'm scared about our wide receiver group unless a couple guys step up. Watson out till November. Dobbs with the concussions. Hey, I think it's a valid point, Ben. You know, all it takes is 1 or 2 more concussions with Dobby, and he's got to start thinking about life after football, man. And we know that's way more important than what we want to see on Sundays. I could see that being an issue. I really could. Now, will he get traded too? I think that's still on the table because there was some rumblings about that last year from some of the Packers insiders. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's any merit to the DK Metcalf rumors. Have you guys heard anything else? Because that seemed really weird how Matt Schneidman just made one phone call and was like, boys, this ain't true. So I don't know. You guys,
according to sources, it's BS. That's all. I don't have to name my sources either.
No one does, Tim. But I tell you,
I confirmed it. That is Rocco Becht was the quarterback last year in 2024. Started all 14 games. 3,500 yards passing.
Good stuff.
Has thrown a TD pass in a school record 18 consecutive games. Okay, there you go. There's
Rocco.
Rocco.
You know what I'm going to do just for poops and giggles here? I'm going to go to the 2026 consensus big board and go to quarterback and see if he pops up.
Yeesh.
Again, you said he's a redshirt junior. So if that's updated for next year, he may not even be coming out next year. He's not listed on here at all.
Okay.
And we got 500 quarterbacks listed consensus big board. I don't see him anywhere. So that's just, again, a name to keep an eye on, because thank you for bringing that up, Jay Cole.
Hey, Rocco, hey.
Worth noting, the coaches, he was an honorable mention for the All Big 12 QB of the Year last year as well. 2024 Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner, top 25 last year. Pretty good.
You know what his favorite food is too?
Pop-Tarts.
Gabagool. Bring him the gabagool.
I was going to say Pop-Tarts because he was the Pop-Tarts Bowl MVP last year.
Okay.
Holmes MD1 says George Kuntz is a doctor, as we put a tweet up here from one Tim.
He's a PhD, not a MD. So, but still a doctor.
That immediately made me think of. Never mind.
Don't say. I know exactly where you're going.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
My favorite people on the face of the planet, Whoopi Goldberg, who was convinced that Joe Biden was a medical doctor. That was an interesting conversation. Watching everybody on this, literally everybody on the View was going. Anyway, Dr. George Kuntz days until the NFL draft in Green Bay. So only 53 days away from the draft. Boys, it's sneaking up on us. I'm so excited. So excited. So
I remember George Kuntz, man. Taking me back in the day, man, a little bit. He was fun to watch, man.
Heck yeah. Love it. All right. We're all caught up on X. So again, I was going to wrap up the show with just looking into NFL.com's website here, but obviously we're not going to be able to do that. Anything else you guys want to hit before we get ready to wrap up? Anything at all?
No, pretty much. I think we covered it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just going to check out the big boys running today, the offensive linemen. It's not as fun and flashy, but definitely going to be something that I think, if we do it the right way, is definitely going to benefit our team. Getting some more big dudes up in that offensive line front in the trenches, like we talked about. So I'm excited to see those guys run today.
Heck yeah. What we're going to do here to wrap up the show, just to give everybody an update, and I checked Easton Butler's account, and I think we're up to date on everything. Let's go through and look at all the players real quick, just a quick glance and where they're ranked on our board that the Packers have officially met with, okay? James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee, in the number 8 spot on our board. The Packers have shown interest in him. Tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan in the 14 spot. Defensive lineman Kenneth Grant out of Michigan in the 16 spot. Jahdae Barron, versatile corner out of Texas, in the 17 spot. We got Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, linebacker, in the 22 spot. Walter Nolan, defensive lineman out of Ole Miss, in the 23 spot. We got Ezaraku, if I'm saying the name correctly, edge out of Boston College, played for Hafley, in the 30 spot. Matthew Golden, versatile wide receiver, in the 37 spot out of Texas. Alfred Collins, defensive lineman out of Texas, in the 40 spot.
Thick.
We got Trey Amos, cornerback out of Ole Miss, in the 42 spot. Princely Umanamelan, edge defender.
Nailed it.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Never happen again. Edge defender out of Ole Miss, Princely, is in the 47 spot. We got Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green.
Here's a guy.
55 spot. Tim, at the combine yesterday, Stacey Dales chimed in from down on the field, and she was like, I don't think people understand how effective he was. They were talking about how Travis Hunter won the Heisman, and they compared his stats to Harold Fannin Jr., and it was like, oh, like Harold Fannin Jr. produced at a maximum level. Now it's Bowling Green.
That's what's hurting him, right? It's the smaller school factor.
Yep. So I guarantee you he's going to be a part of some top 30 visits, and people are going to get him in there and really work him out, get their hands on him and see, hey, is this guy the real deal or not? So, again, the Packers are showing interest in 2 tight ends here early in the draft. He's in the 55 spot currently for us. The main thing that's bringing him down on our board is Dane Brugler's got him at 82, and the PFF Big Board had him at 80, albeit they had him as the top-graded tight end in college football the last 2 years, but somehow he's 80th on the Big Board. So
it's interesting. We've got now not 1 but 2 tight ends on the radar for the Packers. You know, sources have told me that Packers aren't drafting a tight end this year.
Right. So just wasting time, Tim. It's all
Interesting.
telling you, man, the people that come at you, especially on X, that act like they know everything about the draft, you just do a little dig and they ain't got a. I mean, they don't know whether crap or go blind, so they close one eye and fart when it comes to the draft. They've convinced themselves that they are experts, and I'm like, there's nothing. And I never respond to them. I just look back and go, they have no clue how stupid they sound right now.
Usually, people who refer to themselves as an expert usually are not experts at anything other than being a narcissist.
Tim, to be fair, I do this for a living. Okay, so just please back off.
I've got a rule that I live by in life when I'm talking to someone. If they have to say it about themselves in braggadocious ways, it's probably not true.
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper in a way?
Exactly. So anyway, next on the list is a guy you may have heard of, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver at Iowa State, in the 59 spot.
Who?
So, Jaden Higgins.
Oh, let me see if I got him on my notes here. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Benjamin,
I remember him. Yeah, for sure.
Here's a guy.
Benjamin Morris. It's funny, man. My early draft crush, the first week that we started diving into the draft, was Walter Nolan. The Packers met with him. Yours was Jaden Higgins. The Packers have met with him. Last year, Jacobs was Javon Bullock. The Packers ended up drafting the cat. It's like we early on, it seems like we pick out a few. Now, whether they take them or not, we'll see. But Benjamin Morrison in the 69 spot outside corner, the Packers have met with him. Jalen Royals, wide receiver out of Jordan Love's alma mater there, Utah State, in the 78 spot. The Packers have met with him. Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of Oklahoma, we got him in the 91 spot. The Packers have met with him. So the top linebacker on our board that the Packers have met with, there may be a linebacker graded higher, but the linebacker the Packers met with is Danny Stutzman. And that might be a third-round pick potentially. I think there's a little precedent there for third-round linebackers, if I remember correctly, in the past. So Tyron Hopper, was he a third-rounder last year?
I thought it was a fourth.
Might have been fourth. I want to say Blake Martinez might have been a third way back in the day. I also want to say there was another one too. I can't think of his name. Another.
I think. What about God?
Tyron Hopper was a third-round pick.
He was? Okay.
We went 91st right after we picked Marshawn Lloyd at 88.
Where did we get Burks? You remember that? I thought he was maybe a fourth.
He might have been around that range too. I'm not sure. But anyway, Danny
Stutzman. Oren Burks?
I am talking about him.
Keyshawn Nixon remembers Oren Burks. I promise you that. Anyway.
Danny Stutzman, name in my mouth right there.
Linebacker out of Oklahoma in the 91 spot. Burks was a third rounder. There you go. So there's a little bit of precedent there for linebackers around that spot. And then rounding out the top 100, Braden Swinson, edge defender out of LSU. The Packers met with him. He's in the 95 spot. Ozzie Trapillo, offensive tackle out of Boston College, probably played for Hafley as well, in the 96 spot. And then at the 100 spot, actually 99. Center out of Georgia, Jared Wilson. The Packers met with him recently. He was the 11th highest graded center in all of college football last year. And then just outside of the top 100 at 102 is Enos Peebles, defensive line out of Virginia Tech. The Packers met with. So those are the players that are in the top 100 on our board that the Packers have shown some interest in so far this offseason. So anything else, guys? We got to get out of here.
Nah, good to go.
All right. Appreciate everybody. This has been a fun week, man. A lot of information coming down the pike. There's going to be even more today as we should get, like we said, some of the other stuff rounded out. You'll start to see some offensive linemen, combine RAS is coming in, and we should be able to wrap up running back, quarterback, and wide receiver if it hasn't already today as they're going to do their bench press. So not that matters all that much, but when you're getting pressed at the line, it's all about footwork and hand fighting and that strength, that upper body strength. So that may come into factor a little bit. So again, thanks for everybody. Prince, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you hanging out in the chat. Everybody in the chat, hit that like button for us. We'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live with more combine information and any news that may or may drop from the Packers. I'm really surprised nobody's gotten restructured this year. That may tell us, hey, Goody feels really good about where this team is, and he doesn't feel like he has to make a huge splash in free agency. But they've got enough space right now to do what they want. It might be something, too, that they wait and see if a free agent falls at the right price. They go grab him, and then they start kicking in the restructures. That could happen as well. But typically that started happening around March or around February 25th. So look for the restructures to potentially happen any second, or maybe Goody feels good about the cap hit. So we'll see y'all tonight. Everybody have a great day.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.